Jasmine Crockett has set the tone for how Democrats should approach the Trump administration. No holds barred, all out, all the time, unapologetic. And that was perfectly encapsulated when she told Elon Musk exactly how she felt today. And a word that I can't say or this video is going to get demonetized and taken down. But Jasmine Crockett did, and we're going to say that. She told Elon to, it was perfect. It's going to make you feel a lot better. I've watched it like 10 times, and we are going to get into it. A perfect takedown of Elon Musk and such a short little clip. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into that clip, Jasmine Crockett also spoke at a news subcommittee today in which she went off on Donald Trump's weaponization of the DOJ with Pam Bondi, with Elon Musk. We got to take a look.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. This is my first time serving as a ranking member of a subcommittee during a hearing, and I am grateful to be here today. I look forward to working with you and the rest of this committee on behalf of the American people. Before I was elected to Congress or to the Texas House of Representatives, I was a public defender and civil rights attorney by trade. I know about the Department of Justice and what they're supposed to be doing. I am also very concerned by a rogue DOJ, or one that is not beholden to the American people. I am very concerned about the DOJ being weaponized by the White House. I am concerned about the FBI being used for purposes outside of our domestic security and maintaining peace at home. So, weaponization of the Department of Justice. This phrase, the weaponization of government, is something that has been overly used and repeated by my Republican colleagues. They use it as a war cry, a battle call, to justify dismantling federal agencies and the purging of thousands of hardworking, dedicated federal servants who swore an oath to protect the Constitution and the rule of law. If the purpose of this hearing today is to examine and expose the weaponization of government, specifically the weaponization of Department of Justice, then it is essential that we understand what exactly weaponization means. Fortunately, history is kind to us. Last Congress, the House Judiciary Committee held numerous hearings on this notion of weaponization. And in those hearings, Republicans described weaponization as, quote, corruption, quote, government abuse and political treachery, having the government act, quote, against people who were innocent and did nothing wrong, quote, targeting people of one political persuasion. And as one of my colleagues aptly described, quote, if you speak up about the abuses you are seeing, excuse me, or are sharing information that may not fall in line with the political narrative, you will be suspended without pay, have your security clearance revoked, or your life will be turned upside down. It's pretty clear that the MO is, if you don't comply, they will retaliate. If you don't agree with their political agenda, you get suspended. They do it in such a way to deter others from speaking up and speaking out. These are not my words. These are not the words of Ranking Member Raskin or Leader Jeffries. These are the words of congressional Republicans. This is what they believe embodies weaponization. I am the first to admit that I don't often agree with many things that my Republican colleagues say, but wholeheartedly concur with their descriptions here. What concerns me, however, is the inability of my colleagues on the other side to connect the dots that are in front of them, while the rest of America is watching as this DOJ weaponization takes hold right before our eyes. And to be clear, what we are witnessing happening before us satisfies the descriptions used by my Republican colleagues. Corruption. Any lawyer with a good head on their shoulders will tell you that the recent attempt by Trump's DOJ to drop the corruption case against Mayor Adams is ironically riddled with corruption itself.
We need just 1,000 more Jasmine Crockett's. That would solve probably all of the problems that we have in this country, both with messaging and actually governance as well. I have been so appreciative of the tone that she has taken. It's the reason why we were so excited to have her on the show. Hopefully having her on the show pretty soon. I've got some exciting news actually about some stuff we're doing with Congress coming soon. So be on the lookout for that. If you haven't already, now's a good time to hit that notification bell. Some big news is coming soon. But let's not mess around anymore. This is what Jasmine Crockett is saying. Let's just be direct. That's what she was like right here.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Golf.
That's it.
All right. How could we watch that clip just once? How could we watch that clip just once? It's bringing a smile to my face. Let's take a look at it again.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Golf.
That's it.
This is all I ask of Democrats. Actually, that's not true. I ask a lot, and we should ask a lot. We elected them. We should ask a lot out of our party. We should ask a lot out of our representatives. I don't think it's wrong to. You know, I don't want to just be picking on Hakeem Jeffries all the time, but he was on Stephen A. Smith's podcast, and he said that he's seeing a lot of protesting of him and complaints from the far left, quote unquote. And if you think people who want you to call out Eric Adams for being a tool of Donald Trump, call out his corruption, fight back against Republicans with some oomph, to not say that Democrats are powerless, if you think that is far left criticism, you might need to do the L's with your hands. That's not left. That's just reasonable. We do need to push back. We do need to call out the corruption. We can't legitimize them. And we have to use our voices every day. Jasmine Crockett is doing it. Shining example. Someone get her like a trophy or something. That's what I'm going to do. Next time I see her, I'm going to bring her a trophy. I don't know how else to show the gratitude besides talking about her every day, which we are certainly going to be doing. And we are going to more after we check out the rest of that clip.
Trump's DOJ is choosing to spend resources to build loyalty to Trump. If that is not government abuse, I just don't know what is. Third, the view that the government is acting, quote, against people who were innocent and did nothing wrong. For those of you who may not be familiar, when career prosecutors and staff at DOJ are assigned to cases, they take these tasks on not because of power or politics, but because it is quite simply part of the job. It's rare that prosecutors get every case they want. Instead, prosecutors and staff are assigned cases because of their capacity, experience, and expertise. But where we see commitment to the Constitution and the rule of law, the Trump DOJ sees reason for retribution. This has already taken shape in various forms, but notably, on January 27th, Trump's then acting Attorney General James McHenry fired DOJ officials, on those of which worked on federal criminal investigations into Trump. Let me repeat this. They fired DOJ officials who did nothing wrong. These officials simply did their jobs. Now, finally, quote, targeting people of one political persuasion. While I just briefly touch on this point, I want to be very clear with the American people. Within the last 35 days, Trump's DOJ has already sent inquiry letters to Democratic members of Congress for speaking out and criticizing Elon Musk. Our task on this subcommittee today is to conduct real congressional oversight of the Department of Justice, because this notion of weaponization is not simply a threat, it is a reality. The public is worried. Career attorneys are worried. Congress is worried. The world is worried. Every day that passes, the Department of Justice is losing institutional knowledge and exceptional attorneys because of a blind arrogance and vengeance. We owe it to this country to come together to call out weaponization happening today, to call out corruption, government abuse, attacks on innocent people, and the targeting of people with different political views. We owe it to everyone to speak the truth, even if the truth is hard to hear. We owe it to us all to preserve our country's rule of law. And the final point that I'll make is that there were a number of attorneys that were brought up in the chairman's opening remarks. Attorney General Letitia James of New York, as well as DA Fani Willis. I do want to point out that each of these women are women that were duly elected in their states, and Fani Willis was just reelected. That is not federal lawfare. That is not weaponization of the federal government. Both of those women work on the state level. And the final point that I'll make is that while they work on state levels, there were only a certain amount of cases that were able to be tried prior to the election. Any cases that did take place, whether they were civil cases or federal cases, I do want to point out, regardless of who brought those cases ultimately, at least the ones that did go, they ultimately went to juries. They went to juries that were full of American citizens, juries that were not asked, are you going to sit here and support Donald Trump and his agenda, or do you have some left-wing agenda? They were given an opportunity to hear the evidence, and they were able to rule based on the evidence that was presented to them. I am someone who misses the courtroom every single day, as I practiced for 17 years before entering into Congress. And if we continue to pretend as if the voices of everyday American citizens don't matter when they have an opportunity to listen to both sides of a case and make a decision, then we really are in for a rude awakening in this country. One thing that we should do as members of Congress is we should preserve our institutions and make sure we build them up to the point that people have trust. And when you walk into a courtroom, you have no idea who's walking in and who just decided that they would actually show up for jury duty. And I am here to tell you that I still believe in that imperfect but beautiful system that we have in this country, known as the jury system. And with that, I will yield.
Again, our shining example. This is how you call out the hypocrisy. That is, I always say it's a part of MAGA. It is MAGA. The pro-family party, Donald Trump, 3 wives, cheated on all of them. Once while one of them was pregnant. One of the wives is a golf course now. She's a golf course to save him a couple bucks. And look at Elon. All the baby mama drama, like actively ignoring his children, apparently, while one is going through a health scare. These people are awful. Like, the ending censorship party is now deciding which members of the press are allowed to ask questions of the president, what they're allowed to say, what words they can and cannot use. This is scary stuff. And especially with the backdrop of backing Putin and every other autocrat who pops up and will send Donald Trump a love letter, it's terrifying. That's why we need more voices like Jasmine Crockett. I was going to say, I don't think we're going to get them. Maybe we'll get voices like Jasmine Crockett. I don't know if we'll ever get anyone as great as her. She kind of is the top. But if we all put our voices together, maybe we can create half of hers. And so that's why we're going to keep talking every single day on the show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around at the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you soon.